Welcome to the yoga practice today. Today we will look into what we cannot really see clearly, and with that we're focusing a bit on our third eye point. There's cultures that actually hold the third eye as a symbol, while one of those cultures is reasonably familiar to me, which is that of Turkey. They've got beautiful things like a blue eye symbol that they carry on and chimes and jewelry and all a reminder of our ability to see beyond what the eyes can see. They also use it as a kind of protection energy. So having said that, this is our topic for today. In things that we need, I have the usual block, yes, potentially a good idea. I also have a strap, and I know that usually prompts everyone to jump up, open a door, run out. So if you have an item that is a strap or resembles one, please grab that and put it right next to your mat so that you have it within reach for our first few postures. Now we'll come down to begin with a seated position. I will grab that block and actually choose to sit on it while I am right now, because we won't sit for too long, choose Virajasana, which means I'm sitting towards my heels, yet I've got a block underneath to limit the pressure in the knees. You could sit very differently. I actually find, and my meditation stool tells me the same, that for me this is the most effortless position to sit upright in on the floor. But others might prefer easy pose. So allow yourself to move just a little bit randomly, wiggle your toes, move your fingers, shoulders, back. The only reason why we're starting in a seat today is that I would like to bring in the chant of Om to begin with, a universal sound, and with that also a way for us to connect. As you sit tall, take a deep breath in, reach your arms up. As the palms touch, draw the hands down and rest them for a moment on the third eye point. You can soften your elbows down, you may relax your shoulders. And as you rest the thumbs here, a subtle stimulation of this third eye point. Acknowledge what it is perhaps that you would like to work with. What is it that you might need to see that your eyes can't? If there is something perhaps worded as if you could already see it, and make it your intention for this practice. When you feel ready, let your hands rest towards your heart space or sternum. Thumbs might touch again. We will chant 3 rounds of the sound of Om now. Taking a deep breath in together for the first one. As the sound itself fades, the resonation, the frequency still resides within us. Perhaps a deeper breath in to extend your arms, maybe even raise your gaze. On the out breath, let your hands come to rest as we transition. Please keep the block close to the front side end of the mat, and then come to join me lying down on the back. Strap nearby as you lie down onto your back. Feet might be on the ground, arms relaxed on the body. Bringing your right knee in towards the chest and giving that a gentle embrace towards the chest. Notice the responses in the back of the body. And start to circle your right foot in the air. So movement through foot and ankle joints. Then changing the direction. Then pausing the circle. Notice if anything in your posture or how you experience yourself has changed so far. You might now choose to extend your left leg out, only if this feels right for you. It might not, and then keep the foot on the floor. Changing the hold on the right leg to the back of the thigh. Flexing the foot, right foot, left foot too, to anchor yourself. And as you breathe in, extend the right leg up, leading with the heel of the foot, pulling toes back. Then point the foot, bend the knee, and hug the knee back into the chest. This is your out breath. So flexing the foot as the heel presses up, the leg extends. Pointing the foot, and on the out breath, drawing the knee back in towards the chest. Repeat that movement for 3 more breaths. Always flexing the foot to get a deeper extension into the back leg on extension, and pointing for the reason of moving your limbs. The breath in to extend, and out to hug in. This is our last round. As you bring the knee back in towards your chest, let it hover there. Take your strap or replacing item, and if long enough, swing it around the ball of the foot while extending your leg up there. As you ground, let the hands slide down either side of the strap, so you may wrap your hands around it though. Your shoulders, elbows, upper arms are on the floor. The strap is around the ball of the foot, and with tension in the strap, you might already feel an extension at the back of this leg. Slightly draw the right side of the pelvis towards the foot side end of the mat, and then take a deeper breath out to bring this leg closer towards you. A light counteraction of the side of the pelvis to hold yourself balanced. Notice as you draw inwards how shoulders, upper body is responding. You notice tension building up. See if you can change your hold or pull so that you feel more relaxed in the upper body. Then release the strap with the right hand. Extend your arm and take the hold of both ends of the strap. Left hand to the side of the pelvis, and the breath in to open your leg out towards the right. Now, my setup here is very limiting, but if your leg has the space, please make the space. Start to bring your right elbow to the floor so that you can feel when this leg comes out, you're actually supporting it with the strap and the upper arm on the floor. Your left hand on the hip helps you to keep your pelvis grounded so it stays even rather than taking off. On your next breath, guide your right leg back to center. Change the hand and grab both ends with the left. The right arm could fall out to the side of your body. And as you breathe out, take this leg across the body. You might keep it long, you might prefer to bend the knee. Both is perfectly fine and suitable for this shape, but trying to keep the opposite shoulder on the ground, however you're experiencing this long leg or bent knee. Then gently roll onto your back and let your foot slip out of the strap. Let the strap go for a moment as you place your right foot down and then also your left foot. You might feel like readjusting your back a little bit on the floor. Then bringing your left knee over the chest, embracing it, and squeeze it in towards the chest. Fully aware of the body here, how you're feeling. Start to circle your left foot. So again, movement through the foot itself, but also the ankle joint. Change the direction of this movement. Then let the movement pause, and you might choose now to also extend your right leg up. Just because you extended your left leg doesn't mean the right one needs to be out long. This is an experience. Perhaps the leg stays long, perhaps you bend the knee again. Your hands on the left leg change to behind the leg. Start to flex your foot. And as you breathe in, extend the left leg, pushing the heel of the left foot towards the ceiling. Then point the foot on the out burst, draw the knee towards the chest. Flexing the foot, in breath, extending the leg. Pointing the foot and out burst to draw it in towards your chest. Repeat that in about that pace for another 3 breaths. There's no need to rush the movement. Be very deliberate and observant as you move. When you come to the end of your repetitions, keep the knee hovering over your chest. Take the strap again and bring it around the ball of the left foot this time. As you extend the leg with the strap around the ball of the foot, let hands slide down either side of the strap until your shoulders, elbows land on the floor. Wrapping your hands around the strap if you feel that's more supportive. Now, while you're holding a bit of tension, you might already feel that there is something happening in your left leg. On top of that, draw the left side of the pelvis down towards the foot side, short edge of the mat, but only enough so your pelvis feels aligned and balanced with the other side. Then exhale and pull on the ends of the strap to your liking, intensifying the stretch behind the leg. As we have the strap around the ball of the foot, this experience might be a bit more intense than just holding onto the leg. Notice what you are holding onto there in the back of the leg, and maybe the staying here provides you with a bit of a release. You might then release your left hand from the strap. Extend the arm to take a hold of both ends. Let the right hand go from the strap and place this hand onto the right side of your pelvis. On the in-breath now, start to open your left leg out to the side. Your hand might slide a bit down so you can support this leg by resting upper arm and elbow to the floor. Keeping your right hand down to keep your pelvis balanced and making the best of an effort while the leg is opening to keep both sides of the buttocks grounded. Taking a breath in to lift the leg back up. Changing the hand on the strap. The left arm might now fall away from the body. Your choice as you bring your leg across the body on the out breath to slide your elbow and upper arm back down as a support, but also to bend this knee if you prefer the twist with slightly less pressure on your back. Your gaze might remain up, or perhaps you turn the head on the other side and enjoy that here too. As you bring your leg back up, removing the strap from the foot, landing your left foot down and your right foot too. Realign yourselves gently on the mat if that feels good, and soften. Maybe both knees now come to the chest and you could embrace them tightly. Option to raise your nose up to the knees on the out breath and releasing back onto the back. A little rocking movement from side to side. If you enjoy rocking, generally you may change that to rocking forwards and backwards, eventually coming to a seat. If you prefer the sideway rocking action at some point, drop to your side and then help yourself into a seated position. I will return in that sense to the same seated position that I began in. Please choose your most comfortable seated pose here too. So I'm using my block again to elevate the seat and find a bit more ease around hips and knees perhaps. Hands might rest down. So when your spine is upright, create another little wiggle in the body, similar to our first approach, to settle in. While I have started to teach Nadi Shodhana with Jiva Mudra, today we'll deliberately not do that. Today we will come to the hand position for alternate nostril breathing, where your index and middle finger are actually resting on the third eye point. The difference is that when the mudra is here, it is really just to work with the energy channels. And when we place our fingers like this, as we used to do for a long time, the energy is drawn towards this point, and that is the purpose of our practice today, hence we change it. Now we'll still use the thumb and the ring finger to close our nostrils. And if this is not yours because you feel restricted in your breathing or just not right today, please visualize the alternation of the nostrils. I will also use my left hand under the elbow to support. So if this is okay for you, index middle finger towards eyebrow center, thumb on one nostril, ring finger gently on the other. Make sure that you're staying centered rather than turning towards your hand, and that your head is upright. Let's take a deep breath in through both of the nostrils and out. Closing your right, inhaling through the left nostril fully. Open your right, close the left, exhale completely, right nostril. Inhaling slowly through the right nostril. Open left, close right, exhaling left nostril. That was our first cycle, breathing in left. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. Breathing out left. Keep going, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. As you continue now in your own pace, please make sure that this breath doesn't run away from you. Keeping your breath flowing slowly, deeply, so you can feel within your body that belly, ribs are moving. The breath is slow, deep, yet free of strain. As you keep alternating your nostrils for a little bit longer, your focal point might not only be the alternation of the breath through the different nostrils, but perhaps also that point where this breath switches over. Perhaps you can envision that by the touch of your fingers, stimulating the third eye point, while there might be a balance created in the energy of the body. Next time you are exhaling from your left nostril, keep eyes low or closed. Rest your hand down and observe yourself. Your intention might not work instantly during this practice, but perhaps you see yourself a little bit more clearly as we go about our practice. On your next inhale, could you lift your arms back up and perhaps follow them with the gaze? On the out breath, land your hands down in front. Remove any sitting support and come to stand on the hands as well as your knees. You would like a bit of cushioning. If you've got a blanket nearby, that might be nice underneath the knees. Have your hands spread out onto the floor. Ground down to the tops of the feet. Find stability in the hands and the feet. And use that stability to push the floor away as you breathe out to round your spine. Keep that support as you breathe in to lengthen or lift tail and gaze. But on the out breath, ground deeply through hands, shins, tops of the feet, and push the floor away. Breath in, neutral spine or back bend, but the floor away as you breathe out, and really round into the back, chin tucking in. Repeat that for only 2 more. When you complete it, take a next breath just to neutralize. On the following in-breath, then your right arm might lift and you could turn your gaze sideways. For the out-breath now, thread the needle. As you reach your arm under, you may rest down to your ear and the shoulder. You may keep your left elbow risen. If your head doesn't quite touch the floor and you have a block nearby, the side of the head on a block might be lovely. This could also be useful if you're holding tension or discomfort in the shoulder that you're leaning towards. Perhaps you come up onto the left-hand fingertip, push the floor lightly away and lift your left shoulder more. Your gaze is still along the floor. Spreading your left hand back down onto the ground, push the floor away Take a breath in to open out to your side. Land the hand down as you breathe out and readjust your all fours down. Breath in to raise the left arm and open to your side. Breath out, taking the arm under as you round it, resting to the ear or side of the head. Maybe onto the block, maybe onto the floor. Perhaps keeping your right elbow lifted. As you rest your head, the shoulders should feel easy here too. If it doesn't, please use props. And you might step up onto your right hand fingertips and perhaps guide that shoulder further back. But keep your gaze along the floor, the lower arm extended. Then let your hands land back down onto the ground. Push the floor away, your breath in, the left arm might lift again. The breath out to land the hands back down. Now, either keeping your knees close for an extended child's pose, or opening your knees out wide and bringing big toes together for a downward facing hero. In both cases, you might sit your buttocks down towards the heels. Now, I've still got my block there, and I will choose to use the block, but you could also rest your forehead onto the floor, while I will use the block to rest my forehead upon. Your choice now is to keep both arms extended to the front side end of the mat, or to let your arms come down by your side, wrap them around your knees. If it is anyhow available, please leave your third eye point stimulated, either on the floor or on a block, so you feel a light pressure onto that space between your eyebrows. Your breath is deep. You're observing the movement of the breath in the body. If your arms are along the sides of the body, bring your hands out in front. Lift your hips up and away from your heels. If your knees were wide, bring them back to hip distance. Place the block back to the side of the mat if you are using it. Perhaps now tucking the toes under, maybe even lifting the knees off the floor. If you enjoy downward dog, this might be worth pedaling out. If a down dog isn't quite your practice today, you may instead slide your knees forward. And those of you in a down dog, now walking the feet to the front end of the mat. Tucking toes under if you're on your knees, stepping your feet forward as well, and landing in a soft but standing forward bend. You can have your knees bent here a lot, letting your upper body hang down. You might notice a similar sensation in the backs of both legs that you had with the strap. And with your next out breath, starting to uncurl your spine. Lifting the arms on the breath in. Touching palms and thumbs briefly, resting to the third eye point. Awareness back to that you might like to see. On the inhale, extend your arms again. Out breath, bend your knees and slowly folding forward. In breath, fingertips might come to shins, lengthening the spine forward, half lift. On the out breath, bring the hands down, step the right foot back, but only about a meter and out to hip distance. Allow your front knee to be bent. Keep it like this and start to use the front foot to raise your arms up so that we're landing in a warrior one. Your front knee is still bent. Your stance is so far apart, hip distance, that the pelvis is looking forward. You might start to squeeze your feet lightly inwards and activate your base before touching the palms again and drawing your hands back to your third eye point. Now holding your stance very solid. And as you breathe in, open arms cactus style and start to turn towards the front leg. Notice that the pelvis here is not moving. As you bring the hands back to the front, centering the torso, touching thumbs back to third eye. Hold your pressure in your legs lightly and open up to the other side. Here it's even more important that you're aware where your pelvis is. Are your legs still lightly squeezing towards each other? And if you have let go, can you notice how the front leg has lightly fallen? You lost control. As you come back towards the center, touching the thumbs again. Lifting the back heel as you might extend your arms up, breathing in. On the out breath, could you bring your hands down to the floor? Some of you will walk their feet back for a downward facing dog, while others might prefer to stand on hands and knees. In any case, please move the shape a little. See what feels necessary for you. And perhaps there's a breath where the spine rolls forward, you come to kneeling or a full plank. And with the out breath, releasing down towards the floor. Touching the tops of the feet down as you breathe in, finding a light cobra. On the out breath, release this cobra. On the in breath, come back up onto your hands and knees, or even transition to downward facing dog. We will find our way forward onto the mat, so either your feet are walking or your knees are coming forward, as we all end in a standing forward bend, front side of the mat. A breath in for a half lift, a breath out to fold forward. Staying here while inhaling and uncurling the spine to stand on your out breath. Maybe the arms are lifting again as you breathe in, touching palms, and if all right, thumbs back to the third eye point. As you stand here in a form of Samasthiti, engage the inner heels lightly toward each other, similar to our warrior shape, finding stability so we can sit with the focus of our practice. Inhaling, arms and gaze might extend. Exhaling, knees bend, folding forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, left foot steps back again, just about a meter out to hip distance. Bend the front knee, use the front foot and keep the knee bent as you raise your arms up, breath in. The back in a warrior one, so both arms might be extended, always keep them lower if needed. As you find your stance here, the pelvis is easily looking forward. And the front knee in its bend over the ankle, we're drawing the feet lightly inward, feeling the lift coming from the ground, all of this support. Then bring the hands back together, and if still fine, rest your thumbs to the third eye. Keep elbows low, shoulders easy. Hold the strength in your lower body. And as you hold it, start to open up and turn towards the front leg in cactus arm, fully aware of your stance. While the twist in this direction might feel slightly more challenging than to the open side, You might notice that the stability in the legs here is easier. As you turn the torso back to center, bring the hands back to touch your thumbs again to the third eye. Keep that gentle drawing inwards of your feet and open up towards the other side. Same shape. Challenge to hold the lower body stable. Your gaze is over to that side, but your feet and knees, the whole legs have not changed. As you center the torso again, bring hands once more to the third eye point. Then take a breath to lift the heel, extend your arms, and on the elbow start to fold. As your hands land the ground, you can choose between a full stand and a downward facing dog. And on the inhale, rolling spine forward, maybe knees to the ground if that's okay, supportive, elbows by the sides, lowering back to the mat. If you prefer an up dog is a choice, or returning to the cobra, inhaling. Exhaling and release towards the mat. Breath in as you come back onto hands and knees. You might choose to rock back. Maybe you've rolled over your toes. Perhaps you come back to down dog. Maybe you're staying on your hands and knees. Walking now your feet or knees again to the front side end of the mat. Standing forward bend. On the in breath, half lift. Out breath, forward fold. Now with your knees soft, next exhalation, uncurling your spine. For the in breath, raising the arms. For the out breath, hands to third eye, but also bending your knees and your hips. So we're coming towards a chair posture. You might change your arm position and extend the arms if that is for you. My palms are facing up because of my shoulder issues, but if your arms and shoulders are fine, you can always raise them higher, frame your ears, and let the palms of the hands face. Mindful that you're not getting sad in your posture, so keep your gaze lightly forward. Opening the arms as you breathe in, lifting your right foot and perhaps crossing it over the left. Your legs aren't changing, your posture is still the same. We've only crossed the leg, if at all. Let the right arm then come underneath your left, either hug your shoulders or find the full Garuda arm. And start to squeeze legs and arms lightly together. Your gaze is still forward. You're still in the bend in knees and hips. Basically, Garudasana is a one-legged chair pose. As you breathe in, open the arms again. Step your foot to the ground. Push the floor away. Big breath in as you raise your arms up. On the out breath, let the arms soften down. Find your stand and pause for a moment. Steadiness in your gaze or your eyes closed. Internally steadying the gaze. Perhaps the gaze even going to the third eye point. The breath in to extend your arms again. Hands might come to the third eye while you bend your knees and hips, returning to the chair. Please be aware when the hands are changing that you're still using open sitting bones and lower abdominal support, supporting your back. Weight is evenly over the feet at this point, and the breath in to open your arms out. You might now lift your left heel and cross your leg over, changing nothing but perhaps that. As you're here, left arm might now cross underneath the right. You can embrace yourself. You might touch the palms of your hands. Again, please squeeze lightly between legs and arms, a form of activation into the shape that might allow you to balance. Virudasana. Now, as you unwind, take a breath in, lifting as you lengthen, the foot comes to the ground. As you breathe out, touch the hands back to the third eye point. Lower your gaze or close the eyes. The breath in to extend the arms again. The breath out as you soften and fold back down and forward. A breath in for a half lift. On the out, but lower down onto the mat. You might choose to use a folded blanket to sit upon. You might choose to use a block to sit on. I will use a block today because of the posture that we are perhaps exploring. So I will sit on a block and place my feet out in front. I've also taken the strap with me. Now I will reach with the left arm underneath the right I will reach underneath the left arm looking at my limbs and then draw the right foot under. You can choose to open the knee out like this. We often do that for a easy pose. Or you might bring the knee more straight in front and have your foot on the outside of your block or hip. The other foot might end up in a similar position. Perhaps some of you can stack the knees. For me, this is very uncomfortable. I will choose to keep the foot resting here in front. Other options, again, easy pose, left leg in front. Now I'm taking the strap, one end of it, into my left hand. Try and pull yourself up nice and tall in your spine, and then raise your left arm, strap in hand, and behind your back, overhead. Now bend the left elbow. You could then reach with your right hand to find the low end of the strap. Before you think about how far apart your hands are, lift your head. Almost use both ends of the strap to hold yourself upright. Then you might shorten the grip, the space between the two hands. Is that important? No. Creating an openness in the shoulders, an openness in the chest, however, is. You might keep your gaze here steady, roll it to your third eye point. Releasing the strap from the upper hand. Extend your arm, breathe in, let both hands rest, breathing out. You might slide your right knee a bit over or extend both legs if the bending of the knees isn't yours. You could extend your left leg out. Pull lightly back and please bend the left knee as you flex the foot, inhale. And for the exhale, you might lean towards this extended leg, maybe even lowering your gaze. Most important to keep a deeper flexion in the foot, so the stretch is directed behind the leg. Here you could also have a bit of a rounded back and tuck your forehead towards the knee. Notice that your hands might be supporting the form, but your shoulders are easy. On the breath in, lengthen the spine. On the breath out, come back to sit, bending both of your knees and stepping your feet back to the ground. I'm now taking my right hand underneath the right leg to grab the left ankle. And from there, I am taking this foot either towards an easy pose or to the outside of the block. And with that, the knee is more aligned in front. Same choice with the other leg. You could try and bring your foot to the outside of the hip here. Even such a position, if comfortable, is perfectly fine. Or you might copy me and leave your foot resting on the floor. I'm now taking one end of the strap into my right hand. However, let's pull up first and lengthen through the spine. Your right arm might then extend towards the ceiling, and you could choose to bend the elbow. Your elbow might be pointing straight up to the ceiling, and there's the option of taking a hold of the strap behind your back. Now there's a light tension on the strap and a lift through the spine. You could then crawl your hands a bit closer, deepening that movement in the shoulders. Once you've got your Gomukhasana or cow face pose, you might close your eyes. Or you might focus on your third eye point, which can happen with eyes open or closed. Holding here a few breaths. As you release the strap from the arm, reach it up, inhale, then releasing both of your arms, exhale. You might slide your left knee out to the side or again extend both legs. As you let the right leg come out, long flex the foot. Knees might be bent as you breathe in. And for the out breath, finding your way towards this extended leg. Soften again through the arms, the shoulders, and perhaps round the spine lightly as you tuck your forehead towards the knee. Keeping your foot in a flexion for direction and alignment, and allow deeper breathing. Next in breath, lifting halfway up. Out breath as you slowly return, landing your foot on the ground. Do the same with the other. Come off your sitting support, that keep your block by your side. I'm getting ready to lie down on the back. Prepare yourselves as well. What is it that you like to have during your relaxation? Have that close by and then join me lying down on the back. The only item or prop we won't need anymore is the strap, so you can place that to the side. Landing on your feet, landing on your back. There is a version where you could use your strap, but I will avoid that, assuming that you're using some replacement tools. So in that case, you might have your block in reach, arms by the side, feet hip distance, toes pointing forward. While you breathe in, tilt your pelvis so the spine flattens and start to roll your spine up towards the bridge. On the out breath, roll the spine back down. Movement feels comfortable at your arms. Tilt the pelvis as you lift. The arms might reach up. And rolling your spine down while the arms are releasing back to the mat. Repeat the rolling twice more through the spine, whether you're using the arms to come along or not. You might hold your last round extended, drawing your tailbone up to the backs of the knees and slowly raising the arms on an in-breath, grounding them by the sides on the out-breath. And you might grab your block and slide that underneath the sacrum. And today, choosing the block halfway up, but flat is perfectly fine as well. Especially if halfway up, you might keep a gentle hold of the block with your hands before lifting your feet off the floor and extending the legs towards the ceiling. If you find stability on your block, you might release your arms. As you look at your toes, you could play a little bit with them. You could also play with the feet and ankles, creating some movement to observe. But after a while, just letting your feet rest, your knees soft, your upper body supported on the floor, and you might even close your eyes. Focal points could return towards the third eye if comfortable. If your block is on a higher setting like mine, please bring your hands back there before you soften the knees towards the chest. That's for all. And then softly landing your feet back down. Place them once more, hip distance toes forward, and lift your hips up for the bridge. While you might remove the block, hold your bridge. Tailbone draws back up to the backs of your knees, and on the out breath, aim to roll your spine down ever so slowly. As you land gently on your back, take a note, the spine drops into neutral. You might let your arms roll open, let go of shoulder tension. Is there anything you need for body stretch or movement? Have that. And once you've had your movement, the one that is just right at this very moment, doesn't have to be much, then come into Shavasana. If you're okay to keep legs out long or extend them, let them roll open and away from the body. Let your arms, and that is something for everyone, also roll away from the body. So upper arms out of touch with the rib cage, palms facing upwards. If you notice there's discomfort in the back, you have cushion for under the knees, that's a good idea. Or place your feet down, the knees bent, and let them roll inwards at your knees for a constructive rest. Take a deep, slow inhalation through the nostrils once you've landed. And perhaps a sigh out of the mouth. Aiming for a bit of stillness within your body. And perhaps once there is a bit of space, stillness arising, bring your focus back to the third eye. Even if you roll your eye gaze gently in that direction, please do not strain. If the eye gaze extends somewhere else, your intention still sits here, perfectly fine. You might now start to repeat to yourself a few times the following. I have clarity in my thoughts. I have clarity in my thoughts. As you let this thought and repetition thereof rest, take these breaths to notice the impact. You might then repeat a few times, ego does not cloud my thinking. Ego does not cloud my thinking. When you pause this thought and repetition of it, observe your response in the body and mind again, perhaps also in your breath. You might now start to repeat, I am open to my inner wisdom. I am open to my inner wisdom. As you let this thought and repetition pause, notice again, what do you feel? You might finally choose to repeat a few times, I can manifest my vision. I can manifest my vision. As you let go of this thought and its repetition, observe yourself once more. Perhaps one or the other of these thoughts resonated better with you than the others. Take a note of that as well. And then silently repeating, if there was any, your intention for this practice we created when we first focused on our third eye or ajna. After repeating your own intention a few times, let that come to rest too and observe yourself for the very last time in this practice, noticing your internal responses. Be gentle on yourself if this internal response has now changed to a different affirmation. It could be very much so that you've already grown your awareness during this practice. As you might begin now to deepen your breath, move, stretch if you wish. And eventually choosing a seated position, whether you roll to your side or you sit up differently is a choice you might make. Together, once seated, we might take another breath to reach the arms up. And then draw the hands down to rest them against the third eye point. Still in touch with this energy center, draw the hands down to your heart. We will complete our practice with one Om, followed by 3 Shantis and another shortish Om at the end. Let's start with the breath in for the first Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. With a gentle bow, we're extending toward each other. Namaste.